should have beat North Carolina Central, had them on the ropes. The Bison are for real, so that game could mean something. So I like Alabama State, Alabama A&M. It's a great game, but it's got to mean something for me to really put it up there high.
Well, I mean, and I can go there. I can, I can say I understand that because you're right. The only thing that's been on the line is these coaches' jobs in the last few years. That's
and that's a rivalry game. That's a big game because if Spady doesn't win, I don't know if he would have been around for Alabama A&M this year.
Oh, yeah.
So it means a lot. You're right about that.
So, all right. But before I let you go, I just need you to give me 5, Jay. Give me your 5 top SWAC MEAC teams right now. Win, lose, or draw. What are your top 5 teams?
North Carolina A&T.
Number 1?
Grambling.
2?
Yes, A&T number 1
right.
by far. It's a power ranking. Number 2 is Grambling. 3 is Central. North Carolina Central. 4, I'm going to go with, they look pretty good for one half. They look like they're the best team in the country with Alcorn State. They're good. And it's that 5th spot. And I'm going to go on a limb because they've been my team on the bubble. And even though they lost, I'm going to go with the Bison, man. They're good. They're good. Everybody plays and say they're good. I'm giving them the edge over Prairie View A&M because Prairie View kind of had a disappointing showing last week. So that's what you got to give me 5 right now.
Sounds good to me. He is Jay Walker. Give everybody your social media information so they can follow you, man.
Jay Walker Sky. It's Jay spelled out. Jay Walker Sky. That's where they can hit me up on Twitter and tell everybody now. I always got to remind them. It's Jay's Give Me 5. It's not Rob's Give Me 5. It's not Stu's Give Me 5. It's Jay's Give Me 5.
All right.
No, we got something coming, man. Like I said, the Give Me 5 franchise is about to do a lot of other big things, too, that you'll hear about. I'm sure you'll be proud of me, and I appreciate all the support you give me over the years.
Oh, absolutely, brother. Can't wait to see you, Magic City Classic weekend, man. Be good.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thank you.
The HBCU experience lives here. The HBCU Report with Rob Calloway. We'll be right back.
Dave, what are you doing?
Just sending a gift to Dave 2037.
Who?
Me in the future. I save a little money from every paycheck as a gift to Dave 2037, so he can spend it on things like anti-gravity boots or a hologram Doberman, something cool like that. I think Dave 2037 deserves it. He worked hard. What are you getting Steve 2037?
I guess I was thinking Steve 2037 would just fend for himself.
Well, all right, but don't expect to be borrowing my anti-gravity boots.
You want to have money in your future? You got to start saving now. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Hey, let's just hope Steve 2037 doesn't get his hands on a cold time machine, because he is going to come back here and knock some sense into you.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
From Clark Atlanta to Morehouse to Spelman, it's the HBCU Report with Rob Calloway.
This is the HBCU Report being heard via the Two Live Stews Radio Network. You can also hear the HBCU Report via iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio app, Google Play for Android, and also iTunes. Don't forget, follow us on social media at HBCU Report. That's Instagram and Twitter. You can also follow me personally, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Rob Calloway 3. Now, before I go any further, got to remind everybody, I've been meaning to say something the past few weeks. The Sports News and Brews, we are looking for contributors for our content partner. If you are interested or if you write about sports and things like that in your neck of the woods, we'd love to hear from you. Hit us up at hbcureport@gmail.com if you're interested in contributing. That's hbcureport@gmail.com. I don't always have the time to put as much time into Sports News and Brews as I would really like to, as I initially set out to do. But it's always good to get different perspectives from around the country. So if you have any interest, please hit me up via email, hbcureport@gmail.com. Okay? All right. So moving forward, as I mentioned, this weekend, a very special weekend here in the ATL. It is the homecoming of Morris Brown College. Morris Brown College been the butt of a lot of jokes over I guess, the last 15 years or so since losing their accreditation, and everything just fell apart over there in Vine City. But Morris Brown holds a very special place for me. But before we get into all of that, I got a Brown Knight checking in right now. Maceo Hurd, one half of the mighty Crush Sports Talk Show here in Atlanta. If you haven't checked him out, you got to make sure you follow him on Facebook. Make sure you follow him on Twitter and Instagram. I just tweeted him the other day, and I was telling him, y'all boys never stop working. You and Emmanuel never stop working. Seems like when I'm about to go to bed, I'm looking on Facebook. They're up at night during the show, and they're live on Facebook. Then I wake up the next morning, get on Facebook, get on Instagram or Twitter, and they're back working again. Like, do y'all ever freaking sleep? My God, you got to make sure you check them out because they're definitely dedicated to the craft, man. Definitely dedicated to the craft. So, Maceo, give us one of your memorable Morris Brown moments.
Rob Calloway, thank you for showing the Morris Brown Wolverines much love this weekend. My favorite Morris Brown college moment, my freshman year, we were invited to the Conch Bowl over in the Bahamas. Who said black colleges can't go to bowl games? Flew to the Bahamas, played Bethune-Cookman. We didn't win the scoreboard, but we were able to stay on the island while Bethune had to stay on the other side of the island. So we were in the hotel with our band, Bethune band, and all the alumni, and it was a great week, and it showed on the field, but we had a great time. Shout out to Morris Brown. One love. Won't give out the score, though, but, yeah, we had a great time. Morris Brown College for life. Gone.
No doubt about it. That Conch Bowl. Shouts out to Emmanuel and Maceo. Man, you got to make sure you check out the Crush Sports Talk, thecrushsportstalk.com. I think the information that I'm about to give you is correct. Monday through Wednesday, you can check them out 8 to 10 on Sensation Station Radio Network, or maybe it's Monday through Thursday now. Is that right? 8 to 10. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me, but I think that's the correct information that I'm giving out. The dopest sports show on radio is what they call it. And I've been enjoying it. Just got exposed to it maybe about a year ago. Man, but those boys, oh, my God, they're working. So shouts out to them. All right, so this is the HBCU Report, talking Morris Brown College. Man, oh, man, oh, man. I was telling some folks at the school where I work, shouts out to the great Columbia High School. I was telling some of my coworkers that are Brown Knights. I was telling them about the show that I do and how I was going to be checking in with a few Brown Knights this weekend on the show, and how I was going to try to make an appearance down there. I was like, oh, yeah, the best homecoming ever. Like, come on now. I'm not going to go that far, okay? The school has 50 students, okay, at this point. But I will say this in defense of Morris Brown. Here's what Morris Brown was to me. Morris Brown was all of that. You know, my parents met at Morris Brown. So my origins are in Vine City. Okay? But as a young man, Morris Brown was everything to me. The late great, and I know we use that word great loosely in the HBCU realm, but Cleophas R. Johnson, the late great director of bands at Morris Brown College, recruited me heavily to come to Morris Brown, so much so that I rescinded my scholarship offers to every university that had offered me band scholarships. Jackson State, Arkansas Pine Bluff, Tennessee State, Alabama A&M, Fort Valley, Florida A&M, Bethune-Cookman, South Carolina State, Kentucky State. I turned everybody down because it was an honor not only to go to the same school that my parents went to, but the fact that a guy with the legacy of Cleophas Johnson was actually recruiting me. And Morris Brown was on the upswing. They had money. They were doing a big recruitment drive to get more members in the band. They wanted to get the band back to 200-300 members. They were building this immaculate stadium, the new Herndon Stadium, that they were receiving funds from the Olympics the Olympics actually rebuilt the stadium for them, and Morris Brown was going to get to reap the benefits, and it was going to be a big band room under the stadium and all of this great stuff. And lo and behold, Prof. Johnson ended up passing away in the summer of 1996. And my parents were like, hey, Morris Brown is up in the air. They don't know what's going to happen right now. But you got to make a decision. And I did because, band practice, summer band practice was about to start in about a week. And I had not heard from Morris Brown. I didn't know what was going on. And so I ended up at Alabama State. But I always tell people that had Prof. Johnson not passed or had some more things been in place after his death, immediately following his death, there's no doubt about where I would have ended up. I would have ended up as a marching Wolverine, in that big, beautiful purple band over there, Herndon Stadium, with the bubbling brown sugar. So, it holds a near and dear place for me. And then on top of that was that in the HBCU realm, it was that university or that college that brought in the top talent schools. Like, you got to see FAMU, you got to see Bethune-Cookman, you got to see Southern, you got to see Alabama State and Alabama A&M and Grambling and all these other schools because of Morris Brown. See, Clark and Morehouse, they weren't bringing that kind of talent there from a football or a band perspective. So Morris Brown was our big HBCU, right? I was going to say our big black band, but our big HBCU that brought in the bigger HBCUs. And while we're talking about bands, right now on the line joining us is the Brown Knight. He is one of the greatest Brown Knights, the former director of bands at Morris Brown College, talking about Eddie Ellis. First of all, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for inviting me, sir.
Not a problem, man. So, of course, as I just mentioned, you are an alum of Morris Brown, as well as the former director of bands there. When we talk about fond memories of Morris Brown, everybody that attended Morris Brown, whether they just attended or whether they graduated, everybody has, those memories of being downtown in Vine City, and everybody has that. Morris Brown holds a special place in everybody's heart. For me, my mom and dad met on the campus of Morris Brown. So if it hadn't been for Morris Brown, it might not have been me. So, yeah. So for you, having been a part of the Morris Brown family for as long as you have, since the early 70s, can you share with us what might be your fondest memory of Morris Brown College?
Okay. We went to the Macy's Parade, 1970. And not only did we go to the Macy's Parade, in January 1971, we went to the Rose Bowl Parade. That's the first time I ever been on a plane. The Macy's Parade, going back, we stayed on the campus of Morgan State on our way to New York. We stayed on the campus of Morgan State, and we played for the Baltimore Colts, Johnny Unitas, John Mackey, all those fellas. And after the game, I think we spent the night again in Morgan, in Baltimore. The next day we went to the Macy's, New York City. And so we had, when I say we, some of the fellas in the trombone section, we were going to say we didn't want to look country in New York. So we got together I don't know if you know about the Playboy hats that we used to wear back in the day and tip them to the side, and trench coats and shades. So about 6 of us coming out of the hotel, and we wanted to go. We had heard about Greenwich Village. And so we came out the door, and there was a lady, a little white lady, walking down the street. I don't even remember the street that the hotel was on, but we said, "Ma'am," all we said was "ma'am," and she started running. Yes, sir.
Oh my God. Oh man, this is the HBCU report. Eddie Ellis, former director of bands, Morris Brown College. Mr. Ellis, man, it is always great to talk to you, man. And
let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Absolutely. Eddie Ellis, director of bands, former director of bands, Morris Brown College, checking in with us right here on the HBCU report. It's just so funny how so many people have so many memories about a particular school. I mean, it's amazing because whether you went to Morris Brown whether you graduated from R.S. Brown, whether you just from Atlanta. Everybody has these stories. Everybody